Welcome to this episode of The Traveling Queen. We're going to travel to southeastern Arizona to Tucson for some adventures in the Sonoran Desert. I left out of Raleigh Airport about 5 a.m. After a brief layover in Charlotte, I made my way to Phoenix, where we landed a little bit after 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So with this time travel, it meant I had the whole rest of the day to explore Tucson and part of the Sonoran Desert, beginning my adventures. During my layover in Charlotte, I did pull up the weather app to see how things were doing and was not too excited to see that we were traveling through some storms. The turbulence was pretty bumpy, but it did make for some interesting cloud formations as we flew along. Once the clouds cleared, I did get to see some mountain ranges, one of them being the Pelioncillo Mountain Range, part of the U.S. Forestry Service, and did get to see some farmlands, which was pretty cool to see the circles from how high up we were at 30,000 feet, where they use a center pivot irrigation system, and that's why the farmlands are all in circles. So I do like to download maps to use while I'm offline through my Google Maps. And what I did here was I opened it up while on the plane, and sometimes it will pick up the GPS signal and give you an approximate location of where you're at. So sometimes I like to grab screenshots so then afterwards I can go back and research what I was seeing out the airplane window. Prior to leaving on the trip, I was able to check in on the Hertz app in the days before leading up to the trips. This meant when I got to the airport, all I needed to do was grab my luggage, pick out my vehicle on the app, and then proceed to the parking spot to pick it up, and I was on my way. I had about a 2.5-hour drive from the Phoenix airport to my first hike. Along the way, I did stop and get some lunch at In-N-Out. I passed a schoolie in the wild, and I did get to see Picacho Peak along the drive. I targeted that for a future hike. It was a pretty intimidating mountain range to see from the road, so I can only imagine what it must be like to hike it. For my first adventure, I planned to hike the Tanque Verde Falls hike. This hike is located in the Catalina Mountains, which is part of the Coronado National Forest. The Tanque Verde Falls hike is an easy loop hike that leads down into the wash and then back out. It only took us about a couple hours, and we also added part of the rim with the hike. The road leading into the trailhead at Tanque Verde Falls was a hard-packed dirt road. There's ample parking at the trailhead along with pit toilets. The trail itself is an easy, sandy, rocky hike. Once you're down in the wash, there are some rock scrambles. Be forewarned, as the sign mentions, there could potentially be nude sunbathers down in one area of this hike. I don't have a problem with the nude sunbathers. What I do have a problem with is the defacing of the rock to announce that they're there. Prior to the hike, I had reached out to a former classmate, Cesare, to see if he could give any recommendations on hikes in the area, and after discussions, he wound up joining me on the hike, so it was great to get to know him. We didn't run in the same circles through high school, and we had an amazing day. And neither one of us ever even thought to get a picture together while we were doing the hike. I have one picture where I partially caught him. So Cesare, sorry about that, but thanks for joining me on the hike. It was great having you along. After the hike, we grabbed dinner, and then I made my way to where I was camping for the weekend at Iron Quail Ranch. The ranch was situated between Saguaro National Park West and Ironwood Forest National Monument. The sun was starting to set, and I was able to capture some pretty amazing pictures. I found the ranch through Hip Camp and couldn't have asked for a better place to stay. They had a flush toilet, hot showers, the campsites were amazing, the views were spectacular, and I opted to add the amenity of having breakfast cooked for me the next morning. It included eggs from the chickens on their ranch, pancakes that were made from the mesquite buds off of the mesquite trees from off of the ranch. Goat milk from their goats was used in the pancakes. The only thing that didn't come from the ranch was the bacon. So I'm car camping this weekend at Iron Quail Ranch, and these are the views I woke up to this morning. It was dark last night when I came in, so I didn't get to see all this, but this campsite is absolutely amazing. I'll have to take pictures tonight, but there's lights around the little picnic table area. There's a fire pit area, but there's no fires now because the winds and it's extremely dry. A little tent pad towards the back. But look at the views of the mountains. It's beautiful. Trash cans provided at each campsite. There's 2 sites. You can reserve them on Hip Camp. You can either use the website or the app. I use the app. That's the owner's house. The little hut you see right there is the bathhouse. It is extremely clean. There's a flush toilet and a hot shower. And I want to say I paid $30 a night for the site. All in all, absolutely amazing. At the kit site, so the kit site is right next to where they have their goats and their livestock guardian dog kit. But if you're worried about noise, they did not make a peep at all through the night. So Kit did bark sometime through the night at something, but it actually made me feel safer because I knew they were I don't know if it's a boy or a girl dog, but I knew that the dog was chasing off whatever was coming around. So yeah, excellent site, excellent campground, or hip camp spot, I guess I should say. Thanks for watching this episode of The Traveling Queen. Hope you enjoyed the start of my adventures in Tucson and the Sonoran Desert. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. And most of all, get out there and explore, adventure, and roam the world.